How you doing, everybody? My name is DOCTORSAMMY BAYA. Please welcome back to my YouTube channel. Key signs your ex-girlfriend is bewitching you. That's the title of this video. Witchcraft and your ex-girlfriend. It is very important to approach this topic of bewitching with a sense of critical thinking and skepticism, as it delves into a realm of personal beliefs rather than scientific evidence. Bewitching often relates to various cultural or superstitious notions of magic or manipulation. So in this video, I'm gonna give you a comprehensive examination of what some people might perceive as signs that an ex-girlfriend is using mystical means to influence or control them, along with some practical perspectives on these signs. Number one, there's unexplained emotional turmoil. If you find yourself experiencing intense emotional swings or feelings of anxiety without an apparent reason, it may be interpreted by some as a sign of bewitching. However, these emotions sometimes can also stem from unresolved feelings or psychological stress. The other sign that you're being bewitched by your ex-girlfriend is the persistent unwanted thoughts. Continuous intrusive thoughts about your ex that you cannot shake off might lead some to believe they are being influenced. This could also be a sign of obsessive attachment or psychological preoccupation. The other sign that your ex-girlfriend is bewitching you is unusual physical symptoms. Sudden onset of physical ailments or discomfort, such as headaches, and I mean persistent headaches, or fatigue, might be attributed to magical interference. On a medical level, this could be stress-related or psychosomatic. The other reason why, or the other sign your ex-girlfriend could be bewitching you is unexplained stagnation in life. A feeling that nothing is moving forward or that you're stuck might be seen as a sign of being bewitched. This could also reflect personal or professional stagnation that needs to be addressed directly. There's also increased frequency of misfortunes. If you perceive a rise in bad luck or negative events in your life, it might be interpreted as a curse. It is more pragmatic to consider these events as part of life's ups and downs. Your ex-girlfriend is bewitching you if there is unexpected feelings of guilt or shame. Feeling overwhelming guilt or shame without a clear reason might be linked to thoughts of bewitching. It could also indicate unresolved issues or personal insecurities. Your ex-girlfriend is bewitching you if you have strange dreams involving your ex. Frequent disturbing dreams about your ex-girlfriend might be viewed as a sign of magical influence. Alternatively, such dreams might reflect subconscious processing of your past relationship. There's also difficulty in moving on if your ex is bewitching you. An inability to move forward after the end of the relationship might lead some people to believe in external influence. It could also be a sign of deep emotional attachment or unresolved feelings. There's also feelings of powerlessness. Experiencing a sense of powerlessness or being unable to make decisions might be attributed to magical interference. This could also be a psychological state needing introspection or professional support. There's also recurring symbolic signs. Seeing symbols or objects associated with your ex repeatedly might be seen as a sign of magical influence. These instances might be coincidental or related to personal symbolism. There's unexplained behavioral changes. When you notice shifts in your own behavior that you can't explain, it might be attributed to external influence. Behavioral changes can also result from internal psychological processes. You're being bewitched by your ex-girlfriend if you sense that you're being bewitched. If you sense that you're being watched also. When you feel as though you're being observed, you're being watched without evidence, it might be interpreted as a sign of magical surveillance. This could also be related to paranoia or heightened sensitivity. Your ex-girlfriend is bewitching you if there's conflicting advice from friends and family. If those close to you offer conflicting advice about your ex or your situation. Some might see this as a sign of external manipulation. There is that diverse opinions from these friends which reflects different perspectives rather than magical influence. Then these strange patterns in communication. If you notice unusual patterns in communication with your ex or others, it might be seen as a sign of bewitching. These patterns could also reflect changes in relationship dynamics or misunderstandings. There is this unusual behavior patterns in your ex. Observing odd behavior from your ex might be interpreted as evidence of magical influence. It could also be a reflection of personal changes or stress they're experiencing. Difficulties in new relationships. When you face challenges in forming new relationships, it might lead some people to think that an ex is still affecting them. So it's important to consider if personal issues or patterns are at play. If you feel an unusual connection, an intense sense of connection with your ex despite the breakup might be seen also as a sign of bewitching. This could also indicate lingering emotional attachment or unresolved feelings. There's also unexplained changes in financial status. If you experience sudden financial difficulties, some might attribute this to external influence. Financial changes are often due to personal decisions or economic factors. So if there is increased paranoia or distrust, heightened feelings of paranoia or distrust towards others might be interpreted as a sign of magical interference. These feelings could also stem from personal insecurity or past trauma. If you feel isolated, a sense of isolation or detachment from others can be seen as a consequence of external influence. It is worth exploring whether these feelings are related to personal or social factors. Encountering frequent obstacles in reaching personal or professional goals might be attributed to bewitching. Such obstacles can also result from practical challenges or goal-setting issues. An increased sensitivity to superstitions or mystical beliefs might lead some people to think they are being bewitched. This sensitivity might reflect a personal belief system or heightened emotional state. You are being bewitched if there is unexpected acts of kindness from your ex. Receiving unexpected kindness or gestures from your ex might be interpreted as an attempt to manipulate you. This could also indicate genuine feelings or a desire for reconciliation. An excessive sense of dependence on your ex might be seen as a sign of magical influence. If you feel overly dependent on your ex, it might also reflect issues of attachment or self-esteem. So, if there's a perception of unusual synchronicities, if you notice some seemingly meaningful coincidences related to your ex, that might be interpreted as a sign of bewitching. Again, if there's increased frequency of negative thoughts, if you find yourself plagued by negative or harmful thoughts, it might be seen also as a sign of external influence. If there's difficulty in finding peace, you're struggling to find inner peace or calm, also this can be attributed to magical interference. If there's a sudden or unexplained drain on your finances, it can be linked to thoughts of bewitching. If there's a sense of being stuck in old patterns or habits, it might be attributed to external influence. If you're developing an increased interest in occult practices or mystical beliefs, it might be linked to the idea of being bewitched. If you find yourself having disproportionately intense reactions to situations related to your ex, this can also be a sign of being bewitched. If you are believing that certain events or situations are being manipulated by supernatural forces, it might be linked to the idea of being bewitched. Observing unexpected or out-of-character reactions from your ex might be interpreted as a sign of also magical influence. Struggling to build new relationships or connections might be attributed to magical interference. A sense of being controlled or influenced by unseen forces might be linked to the idea of bewitching. Feeling uncomfortable or uneasy in specific places associated with your ex might be seen as a sign of bewitching. Experiencing a high number of misunderstandings or miscommunications with others might be attributed to external influence. Noticing strange patterns or change in your personal belongings might be seen as a sign of magical interference also. Paying excessive attention to signs or omens related to your ex might be linked to the idea of bewitching. An inability to let go of past experiences or emotions related to your ex might be attributed also to magical influence. Experiencing strong intuitive or gut feelings about your ex might be seen as a sign of bewitching. Developing a heightened focus on rituals or superstitions related to your ex might be linked to the belief in bewitching. If you feel as though you are losing control over aspects of your life, it might be attributed to magical influence. If you notice unusual changes in your likes or dislikes, this is also a sign of bewitching. If you experience sudden, unexplained feelings of dread or fear, this is also linked to bewitching. If you see objects or symbols associated with your ex frequently, then this is a sign of magical influence. If you observe strange patterns in your interactions with others, this is also a sign of external influence. If you have strong emotional reactions to events related to your ex, and if you feel a heightened sense of connection with your ex despite the breakup, this is a sign of magical influence. If there is a shift in how you perceive reality or experience everyday events, this can also be attributed to magical interference. In conclusion, while the notion of being bewitched may resonate with certain cultural or personal beliefs, many of the signs attributed to magical influence can often be explained through psychological or emotional factors. So it is essential to consider both personal and practical perspectives when addressing such concerns. And seeking professional guidance can provide clarity and support. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've learned a thing or two. I hope you've been entertained. Remember, knowledge is power. Information is power. And learning is a superpower. Thank you.